Hello, everyone, and welcome to my podcast, Stacy Personally Speaking, where my thoughts become known. This is Season 1, Episode 165 of the Journey 365 series. Today's episode is about sushi lunch treat, intense Japanese, and creamy pumpkin soup. I turned off the 6:30 alarm and remained in bed until almost 7 o'clock. It was Sunday, and I planned to go to church today. I hadn't told my pastor again after telling him and changing so many times already. I began my quiet time with God, allowing the Holy Spirit to lead me. God is concerned about every area of our lives, and as His children, He wants our hearts to be completely turned to Him. And so the Bible tells us, "Eat thou not the bread of him that hath an evil eye, neither desire thou his dainty meats. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, saith he to thee, but his heart is not with thee." Proverbs 23 verses 6 to 7 of the King James Version. I already knew I wasn't going to be having any breakfast before heading for church, so I did infused leg and back exercises, had a shower, and then got ready. I left home just around 9 o'clock and arrived at church about 10 minutes before start time. The pastor and I dressed similarly today, and so we grabbed a quick picture together before the service started. The praise and worship session was beautiful, even though we only did 2 songs. The message focused on one of the names of God, Mighty God, from Isaiah. With all that is going on in the world, we certainly needed to be reminded that our God is mighty and powerful and in complete control. I was invited and treated to a sushi lunch and really enjoyed trying new sushi today. I was a bit scared, but I was happy I did. I wondered if my taste buds were changing because I never liked raw shrimp before. Today, however, the texture was quite appealing, much to my surprise. After having about 6 or 7 different types of sushi, I had some chocolate cake. This cake, however, was not as delicious as the cake served at Caesarea, another restaurant. It was my first time to have it at the sushi restaurant, so next time I'll know not to order it. Don't get me wrong, it was okay, but not great. It was a wonderful time of sharing and fellowshipping, talking about life and how we should choose to be grateful in the midst of everything. We were at the sushi restaurant for just about an hour, even though it had felt longer. It was time to go our separate ways as we encouraged each other in the faith. I got home sometime near midday, and guess what? I was not hungry. I recorded 2 days podcast and changed the thumbnail in the YouTube playlist for the podcast. I wanted persons to know that every video was an actual video and not just an audio. Afterwards, I decided to study some Japanese. I've been studying more and more since I decided to take the JLPT test. It hasn't been as structured as I'd like so far, but I am working my way towards that because the test is in December. The thing is, however, I haven't decided yet whether to try for the N5 or N4, which is the harder of the 2 levels. The testing goes all the way to N1, which is the most difficult level. I need to decide very quickly about the test though, because the deadline for the application and payment is September 16th. Can you imagine? So, I actually did a practice exam today online for N5. I didn't get around to doing the N4 practice test. You see, the test costs more than I anticipated, 6,500 yen. Yeah? So I am trying to make a wise decision about this investment. On the other hand, I don't want to fail and lose out on this investment. My brain had become exhausted from studying so much Japanese, and my stomach and hungered. So I had an orange to appease my griping stomach. It was almost 5 o'clock, and so I went to the refrigerator to retrieve the fish and a sweet potato. I honestly didn't want sweet potato again, or something sweet again, as I somehow felt I had been having so many sweet foods, even though they were earth foods. But I hadn't actually planned for anything else. I saw the pumpkins which I had bought over a week ago to make pumpkin soup, but to date had not Jamaican pumpkin soup. I was about to skip over them when I happened to turn over one and realized it was starting to mold. So I had no choice but to use them. The idea came to me to try making creamy pumpkin soup, which I had never made before. After a quick check on YouTube, I prepared the ingredients, pumpkin and carrot and onions, and set them on the stove top. I went back to my workspace and downloaded an N4 practice test complete with audio and answer sheets while the pumpkin was boiling on the fire. I also put the fish and sweet potato in the toaster oven to be warmed. I had wanted to fry the sweet potato, but decided I had had enough oily snacks yesterday. I joined All Nations Fellowship, or ANF Church, online after 5 p.m. and caught a part of the message. The church usually starts at 4 o'clock, so I'd missed over an hour of it. The truth is, even though I really enjoy this church, it's difficult to consciously join at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. It's not impossible, but it will take some amount of rewiring of my brain for this to happen. I'm used to church in Jamaica starting from 7 a.m. Since I've been in Japan, I've been going to church starting at 9 p.m., 10 p.m., and even 11 p.m. Those really took some getting used to. I was back in the kitchen to puree the boiled pumpkin and carrot, which I'd added, the carrot that is, on the suggestion of another video. I allowed the contents to cool down a bit before placing them in the food processor. The food processor works like a charm and was the perfect size for the amount that I put in it. Once I got it back into the pot and added the coconut milk on the fire, I was blown away. The creamy pumpkin soup was so delicious. I couldn't believe I'd never made it before. Why didn't somebody tell me about this delicious soup? Mind you, it requires some work, but not too much. I didn't use any butter or cream as the videos I watched had suggested. I used coconut oil to saute the onions and coconut milk as my substitute for the cream. It was so creamy and sweet. Wow. I fast realized, however, that this could be cloying. Yes. Now I understood why it was paired with bread. I realized that I had this very sweet pumpkin soup as well as a very sweet, sweet potato. And that was just not going to work. I thought I'd abandon the creamy pumpkin soup altogether. But it was my first time and I wanted to try it nice and hot. I had already warmed the sweet potato, so I decided to have only a half of it. So I prepared a very small bowl of the creamy pumpkin soup and had it with rice crackers, which complemented it well. I was in a good place. I learned that pumpkin soup freezes well, and so I plan on making more of this, especially for the winter season. It was the end of another beautiful evening, and despite the mess in my room, I am at peace. Just don't look. Not because everything is going great, but because I serve a mighty God. Thank you. Thank you so much for journeying with me on today's entry. Please support me by leaving a comment below or sharing this with somebody who you think might enjoy the journey. Yes, daily life in Japan. Remember to follow my blog at stacypersonallyspeaking.wordpress.com to get posts delivered right into your email. So you can read them there or watch me right here. Bye for now.